everybody. My name is Taylor Gonzalez. I host a YouTube channel called 50 Shades of Tay, and I am honored to be here tonight with the incredible, talented cast and crew of this film. But what's really special... What's really special about tonight is we have a lot of people in the audience as well who worked on this film. So before we start with the Q&A, if you had anything to do with working on this film, if you could raise your hand or stand up and just give a round of applause to everybody.
Stand up, stand up, stand up.
Thank you to our wonderful crew, everyone, thank you.
It takes a village, but it looks like it takes a small town.
It's just so special to be here with everybody celebrating this film. If we could just, we'll start here and work our way down. Just introduce yourself and what part you played in bringing this film to life.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Edmundson and I play the evil queen.
Hi guys, my name is Tristan Nokes and I play Prince Florenzel.
Hi, my name is Sanae Loutsis and I play Snow White.
My name is Naomi Mechem-Miller. I was one of the co-writers, head of the makeup and special effects department.
Jason Brooks, apothecary, chemist. No. I co-wrote with Naomi, directed, and played that sexy huntsman Gunner.
Hi, my name is Andrew Scott Bell, and I wrote the music. I'm the composer of the film.
All right, so Jason, we'll go ahead and get started with you. So you're the writer, director, and producer of this film. What made you choose Snow White, of all the fairy tales, to make a movie about?
Sean, our executive producer, gave me a call one day and said he and his family were talking about it and asked if I would do it. And I said, well, yeah, as long as it's gross. As long as it's a horror movie, and kind of into my style, and you, of course, how else would I do it, so.
Yeah. The craziest thing is, yesterday I saw a brand new Snow White movie as well. This is the better of the two, I will tell you guys right now. This one, you guys got the casting right, you guys got the characters right, and I actually had fun with this one. It was just such a great film, so congratulations to everybody here that picked this. So Jason, what was it like getting to see your film and all your hard work on a big screen with a full theater?
That was pretty incredible. I mean, hearing people laugh, the parts you want them to laugh at, jump and scream, it's very rewarding. And I'm hoping that they feel the same things I'm feeling. I'm not crying, you're crying. No, it was fun.
What scene would you say changed the most from the first initial draft to the version that we saw tonight on screen?
Oh, there's a lot. This was a 2-hour movie that we cut down, got about 45 minutes out, and so there was a lot that changed, but I don't know. I guess the end with Tristan in the kiss, I think that one went through a couple of iterations to get that there, adding the flashbacks, the sounds and everything to kind of make that have as much impact as I could to pull that off. So
I love that ending. I thought it was very special, so you guys did great with that ending.
Thank you.
Naomi, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great, thank you.
I gotta say, I love the outfit. I love everybody's outfits. I was seeing such creative outfits in the lobby tonight. I was like, dang, you guys really stepped it up with these looks tonight. What was the collaboration process like since you were the co-writer on this film?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, actually. This was my first time writing, producing any of this type of stuff. Usually I'm just makeup and special effects. But we basically locked ourselves in our office for 4 days and just busted out the outline, tried to make it make sense. Yeah, we really did everything together, from the character building to the plot to the world building. And then Jason, of course, wrote the screenplay and we kind of went through and edited it together. So it was very collaborative, very fun.
We got some great feedback too from Cody, our DP, who's a brilliant writer and director himself, and so that helped a lot.
of the many things that I loved about this film was the use of practical effects. I am a huge fan of, is that me? I think it might be me. Getting in as much as you can in camera and doing things as practically as possible. So can you talk a little bit about some of the practical effects that you used in this film?
Yeah, I mean, this film is, 95% practical, I would say. As a practical effects company, that's what we do. Obviously, we wanted to throw as much as we could in there, but...
Fiction, bitch.
But we just really, we love practical effects as well. It's our life, our career. And there has been this kind of trend of pushing more towards digital stuff, more CGI, and we really wanted to bring it back to the roots. I think people have been missing that kind of realism that you see of having a thing on screen that people can interact with, instead of a tennis ball. So we're big fans of it ourselves, and we worked nonstop to bring all this to life.
Unless you're gonna make a monster, like a tennis ball monster movie, where a tennis ball is, then it would be a practical tennis ball, right? Oh, sorry.
Well, we are in the presence of royalty because we have Snow White herself in the house tonight. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing incredible. I haven't seen the final version yet, with all of the score and the effects and the color, and Holland and Tiago can attest, because they were sitting next to me. I was like, all the time, which was a bit unexpected to me, but yeah.
You made such a great Snow White. What was your reaction when you first found out you got the role of Snow White, and how did your friends and family react?
It was a little bit of a different process than just getting the role, because the story kind of formed in my dining room with my sister-in-law. As Jason said earlier, it was something that my family kind of brought to him and then they brought to life. So it was something that I was kind of there for since the beginning, which was really special because I got to listen to the things that they were putting into her, and then I got to also put my own input into what I think Snow White really was. And I hope that you saw, and I hope it was good.
Would you mind talking a little bit about getting covered in blood and how somehow you always end up getting covered in blood in all of Jason's films?
Sorry.
It's okay. It's a lovely life, it's a cold life, but I kind of look good covered in blood, so I can't blame them.
Oh my gosh. What was your relationship like with the character of Snow White growing up? Was that a character that you had a lot of feelings towards and a character that you grew up with?
Totally. As a kid, growing up, any little girl, I wanted to be a princess, obviously. I was like, I just want to live in a castle. That sounds like a good life. With Snow White specifically, I am a very big Disney fan, too. And so, that having so much of a big history in animation and in film and in Disney history, it was a really big deal to me. And she's just a character that exemplifies kindness, and I think that's the most important thing about her.
Chelsea, your take on the Evil Queen. That was fucking badass, honestly. That was I did not expect that. What were some of the inspirations on your take of Evil Queen?
My own internalized rage. It was very cathartic to be able to let that out. And then a lot of actresses that I love that kind of were quilted in there, like Angelica Houston and Angelina Jolie in Girl Interrupted, and just a lot of different influences, I would say, combined with insanity.
Oh my gosh, so great. I heard a rumor that it was your idea to dunk yourself in the bath full of blood. Is that true?
Yes.
Do you have any regrets about that?
Well, it ruined my highlights. And I had to get my hair redone, but otherwise, no.
Can I ask, was it barbecue sauce or what was that?
What is it, Naomi?
It was fake blood.
You buy it, right? You buy it.
Oh
She's not giving up her recipe. That's what that is.
Well, I'm curious, what are some of your favorite fairy tale villains?
I love Ursula. If we're going Disney, Ursula is my favorite. I love her. I just always end up love the Hannibal Lecter. Obviously, is like the best of all time. That's the best. I'm gonna stick with that one. He's the best.
And do you remember the very first time you put on the Evil Queen costume, and what was your reaction when you got to see yourself like dressed from head to toe as the Evil Queen?
I was like, this is so cool. This is the coolest costume I've ever gotten to wear, and it's probably never gonna get better than this. So, truly.
I love the costume.
I love our costume department. Shout out costumes. Love you, girls.
Tristan, I love your outfit tonight. That is so cool. Can you talk a little bit about that?
It's wanted to go more of the homage of the royalty, the armor. I know the Seattle Knights. We had to go a little memo of me and Naomi going a little armor, so wanted to spice that up and splash it in.
Did you have any problems getting that through airport security?
No, unfortunately not. We didn't do carry-on. This is all checked-in bags, so we're good.
How did you get involved with this film, and what was your reaction when you found out you got the role?
So I saw the audition, and I'm a very big D&D fanatic. So medieval fantasy is my genre, baby. And I saw that they were casting for the prince. I didn't know exactly what the title was at that moment. I think it was unknown, right? Was the title unknown?
It went through a couple different iterations.
Yeah. But I didn't know it was any kind of Snow White thing. But it was the prince, and went into my hardest British accent I could do, and went for it. And I was like, during that audition, I was just like, oh, I'm not gonna get it. I'm like, there's so many much better people who could do this role. I'm like, I'm not gonna get it. And I think it was like a week after, or even like 3 days after, I got an email from Jason, and it's like, hey, how would you like to be the prince? And I was like, amazed, and immediately told my partner, and I was just like, I got it. And and then we flew to Seattle to film it.
Oh, that is awesome. So I was going to actually ask you about being a D&D player and how that helped you create your character of the prince. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, in my campaigns are very dark. It is very dark fantasy. It involves trauma. There is no humor in it whatsoever. It's a very serious campaign. So dealing with the prince, I tend to not put a lot of humor in my characters. It tends to be more serious forward. So doing a lot of accents and going full with the prince, just went with it and just see how it went. So yeah.
And then, who is your favorite fairy tale prince?
A lot. Hercules and Aladdin.
All right, nice. Andrew, how are you doing down there?
I'm doing well. I'm way down. Good to see you.
How great was Andrew's score in this film, you guys? I
Amazing score.
Thank you.
So Andrew and I have been friends for a couple years now, which is crazy to say because it feels like it was just yesterday we were getting lit at Yard House. But if you guys don't know, Andrew actually does the scores for the Poohniverse films, for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and some upcoming ones that maybe I shouldn't say out loud. But Andrew, this score was so different from anything else that I've heard you work on. Can you talk a little bit about how this score was different and some of the inspirations when crafting this score?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I must say, I've always wanted to work for Disney since I was a kid, and I didn't expect that doing all the horror versions of the Disney public domain stories would be, but here we are, and I'm honored and thrilled. This is very different than like Taylor said, other scores that I've worked on, and I think that's what drew me to it. When I first talked to you, Jason, I think on that first Zoom I said, I don't normally pitch like my idea before asking you what you want, but I really want to try like a horror Braveheart. And you were like, I'm in, let's go. And so that was the first idea, but then it just kind of blew and blossomed from there. I listened to Johann de Mege, who's a French composer who, well before there were movies, wrote a symphony inspired by the Lord of the Rings books. I listened to a lot of Ravel. I went back to some of my more classical roots in my undergrad schooling. and just kind of dug deep to find something that I think has a timeless sense, because this movie feels timeless. It feels like it exists outside of any one culture. It feels like it exists like in a time that we all know but don't know, that fairy tale, fake realism world. So I think that's, I don't know, I'm really just rambling, hoping to sound smart. I don't know if it's working. My manager's here. I know that he's filming. I'm trying to be smart, so. Nailed it. Mic drop.
So Andrew, the other night you texted me a really sweet story about the lake house that you recorded this soundtrack at. Would you mind sharing that story with the audience tonight?
Sure, yeah. Once a year, my wife and I, we go back to my family's lake house in Virginia, normally in the downtime, like for Christmas through February, when Hollywood is kind of, everyone's like, vacationing and, and we went there for Christmas, and that just so happened to be when we were going to be scoring this picture, and I said, all right, I think I can do it there. I have a duplicate setup of my recording studio there, and pretty early on in writing the score to this picture, I had a moment drinking coffee in the morning, sitting on the deck, because it's my family's lake house. My grandfather actually built it, and so I spent every summer of my life there. And I had this moment drinking coffee, and I remembered that one summer when I was really starting to get into film scoring, that I brought like 10 of my film score soundtrack CDs and listened on my Walkman. And to write a film score that is this complex and this new and stirring from me in the lake house that I grew up and spent every summer of my life in was very emotional for me, and it felt like a real full circle moment that child that would listen to soundtracks on that deck is now the adult who's getting to fulfill the dream that I spent my life chasing. So it was very special. This film will always be special to me.
So Andrew, there is an instrument on the soundtrack that sounds like a flute, but is not. And I feel like if I were to give everyone in the audience a guess to guess what that instrument is, they would guess. What do you think it is?
Penny
Chelsea?
whistle.
No.
Recorder.
Tristan, do you have a guess?
Charm?
No, nobody's gonna guess. I
Charm.
promise.
We could be here all night.
Charm? Ocarina?
I feel like we're gonna
There
go
is.
farther.
I did play ocarina a little bit on it, but that's not what he's talking about.
Do you want to tell them?
So my friend Colin, who was in the Colonial Williamsburg Fife and Drum Corps, so he played penny whistle in that. He came to visit us at that lake house, and we were hiking one Saturday, and I said, Colin, why does your walking stick have holes in it? And he went, he started to play his walking stick as a flute. So I said, God darn it, we're gonna go record that when we get home. And we recorded it in the scene where Snow White is, right before Snow White gets attacked by the huntsman in the forest. So she's kind of walking through the forest just after her friend had died, and it's this like crazy flute going right before the huntsman comes and puts the axe in the tree. That's where that instrument was used. And it's a walking stick. Flute walking stick. So thank you, Colin.
Can I get one at Target?
Do you want to guess again? Do you guys want to guess again?
Was it a walking stick?
Yes, you got it. So I'm a huge fan of physical media, and I have a giant record collection. Andrew, is there any chance or any news of a physical release of the soundtrack to this? And if not, what do we have to do to get that started?
There's no news of it yet, but I think just tweeting. I mean, I know that the first vinyl, I've only had one of my soundtracks pressed to vinyl, and that came about by people asking for it online. I mean, social media is a very powerful tool, so the more that people are posting and tweeting about it, the more Jason and I and anyone else can point to hey, look at all these people who want to buy a CD or a vinyl of the soundtrack or a Blu-ray of the film. You know, like the more that people are talking about wanting to own a physical copy and not just stream the movie or stream the soundtrack, the more pressure we have, the more leverage that all of us have to say, look, people want to see this movie and they want to have it as part of their collection at home. So that's what I would say is just, tweet about how you want to listen, tweet about how you want to watch, and have it a physical copy.
While you're doing that, everybody go onto like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb and everywhere where the movie is, where there's reviews. Give it a 10-star if you liked it. If you didn't like it very much and you hated it, give it 10 stars. And just go out there. It's the reviews are getting out there on Rotten Tomatoes now, and the early reviews are coming in. So we would love all of you guys to go in there and do that as well. So
I am very curious, because this is a horror-leaning film, did anything scary, spooky, or unusual happen on set while you guys were filming?
The actual night creatures did scare the fuck out of me. Because I didn't know they were going to be behind me. I knew they were going to be behind me, I didn't know how close they were going to be behind me. So as soon as I turned, it was like inches from my face, and I forgot which one it was. Who was it? It was, there you go, it was you. But I just like, it jump scared me because it was like inches from my face, and that was an actual genuine reaction that you saw on the screen.
It didn't scare me, but I have to say this.
Well, good for you.
Sorry, wait, no, not that. I have to say this about Risa. When they have me all strung up, and then the dwarfs come in with Tristan, and they're gonna save, and everybody comes in. I didn't see them until it was I'm actually in the chairs, strapped up, and then they all come in, and Risa does like a somersault, and then people are swinging axes, and I never got to see a rehearsal, and I was like, it was so cool to me, and I was really glad they weren't shooting me, because I was just blown away by it. It was just amazing. Anyways, sorry. Say that.
I'm so curious what everyone's favorite scene was to film.
That was my favorite, so I'm done.
Yeah, I think the ending battle scene was probably my favorite. It was a lot of action.
Oh, it's working now. My favorite was definitely the scene with the raccoons. I mean, that was like, what am I gonna do?
Were those real raccoons?
They were real
No, they were
raccoons.
CGI.
And we got lucky because they were little babies. Usually they're adults, but they were babies.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
So
the
precious.
deer was real
I'm
too.
very
It came
jealous
up
of
to us.
that.
It came up to while filming. It was there. So. No CGI animals.
Wow, that
Wait,
is...
so the deer wasn't planned, it just came?
Yeah, the deer came.
What?
Yeah,
It's magic.
we were doing our battle, me and Colin and all the dwarves, Jeremy and Risa, were attacking the night creatures, and then we're like, wait, there's a deer, record it quickly, go. And then Cody, our DP, was like, Tristan, shut up. I was like, okay. And then we shot it, and then the deer left.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. So I think we have time for a few questions from the audience. If anyone would like to ask a question. Yes, right here.
Yes, Sanae and Tristan, what would you explain? Can you explain the kiss a little bit? And Sanae being your first kiss ever.
Oh, was it? That's crazy. That's so crazy. What? No, I mean, I was like supposed to be dead, so I had a pretty easy job.
Ditto, I guess. It was a pretty chill scene. We knew what we were signing up for. Like, we knew that this was a Snow White. We knew that how she woke up was from a kiss. It was already taken part. Like, we were already mentally prepared for it for in the long run. And I think the kiss was like the last scene, ending of the last scene. So we were already mentally prepared for it. Me and Sanae already talked about it and communicated and be like, hey, let us know what's going on, if there's anything all right. And then Naomi's the intimacy coordinator, did a great job at making sure everything was comfortable and everything was okay. But yeah, I think it went really well. And man, that smoke, that's pretty cool.
I was gonna say, did you know that she was gonna poison you with her breath?
No,
Or was that-
yeah. It was funny because my first take, I didn't know how the poison was gonna react to me. And so I was thinking like, oh yeah, like Avatar, as soon as he's like trying to inhale for breath. So I'm over here convulsing, having like a seizure. And then Jason comes up, he goes, yeah, can we just like not do that? He goes, it's just gonna be, just you lay on the ground. Just lay on the ground. He's like, got it, cool, got it.
Don't ruin the sad moment by
Yeah, just don't do
being
that.
a fish.
Whatever you do, don't do that.
Probably a better question for Sean and his blood pressure, how that kiss was.
Sean was like eyeing me down. He was like, that's my daughter. I'm like, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yes.
This one's for Jason and Naomi. So those weapons you made for the dwarfs were absolutely incredible. Like, straight out of a video game, I felt like I was playing Diablo or something like that. I've done Dungeons and Dragons, but I am curious how, was there anything that hit the cutting room floor that you're like, okay, this is too outlandish, this is too crazy to be a weapon? Anything that it's like, we're so close to making it, but maybe you didn't?
No, I probably had some outlandish ideas I wouldn't be able to do in time. So it probably, yeah. But we just wanted to have every one of the characters have their own unique weapon, something that looked cool, that was that they could identify with, and be memorable, not just like, oh, it's a double-bladed axe, okay. But this one opens up, it becomes scissors, and then this one is...
Because he makes clothes.
Because he makes clothes.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, that's smart.
But yeah, everyone's Arsta with the hammer and the little writings on the handle. Like, everyone has something special with their weapon, the bone. My favorite are kind of the Jeremy's bone tomahawks.
Me too. Those are my favorite too.
There's a fun story. Those came about because at midnight one night, we were watching TV and Jason went, we have 2 shoulder blades and 2 femurs. I have an idea. Hold on. And then he just put it all together and it looked awesome. And yeah, that's my favorite weapon too.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Did any of the cast keep anything from the set?
Well, I'm supposed to be getting a sword.
I promise you're getting it. I'm fixing it.
I'm still getting my sword. And then I also told Naomi and Jason if I could keep... Wait, what?
We have to ship it. We can't take it home.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I also told Jason and Naomi if I could keep my costume, but they're saying they're keeping it on hold.
His
for a
goodbye
possible-
hug to both of us after rap was a hug and then whisper in the ear, can I please keep my costume?
Yes.
And we both said no.
We might have pickups. We don't know. I don't want you losing that.
I got to keep a crown that producer Kaylee Fortune gave me. Yeah.
What? You kept a what?
I got lots of goodies. The set was in my backyard, so I kind of kept that. Yeah, and then I had a lot of really sweet people give me things too. One of the shop people, they gave me a beautiful necklace that they were making while we were filming the scene, and that was so, so sweet. Yes, my love. Yeah, so lots of little goodies. I mean, the prop house is also in my backyard, so I kind of have all of them.
You got to keep the dog, Diamond the dog.
Yeah, I kept the dog, Diamond, the white fluffy dog. I made out like a bandit, honestly.
Right here.
So I'm curious about the departure from the traditional voice in the mirror to kind of the fates or the muses or whatever.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
So we thought for a long time, how can we do the mirror different? And we struggled with that for a while. And we were kind of going back and forth with some ideas. Cody came to me with an idea with a picture from a project he had worked on with people painted all black and kind of glowing eyes or anything, something like that. And then we kind of went forward with the design and came up with this. And then we had written it to be basically the voices in her head. No one else in the room sees the mirror demons, but it's her own self-internal dialogue. So it's that voice that's constantly like in your head, telling you you're not good enough and how you can do better and whatnot, and kind of betraying you sometimes. So
You look like trash. Go kill some people.
Jason, I have a follow-up to that. I noticed at the first set of demons, it had a little bit of Sanae's voice, but I noticed towards the end of the movie, it was almost
Sanae's voice was not in there at all. It was the actress's voice, and then kind of layered with some different tones that our amazing sound designer did. Mark Menza is somewhere, but
Stand up, stand up.
All right, and I think we have time for one more question. Go ahead.
Favorite line not said by you?
Mine is definitely one that was in the end credits when Christopher says, "Yoo-hoo!" That killed me. That killed me. I was so glad to see that in the credits.
they do appear to be quite mad.
I love after all the times that character said language. I love the one time at the end when he said, "I'll allow it." I made sure the music was going, and I was like, pause for this wonderful moment. I'll allow it. Music came back in. I love that line. I love that.
There's when Snow White is sweeping up at the cottage right before everyone leaves to go into the woods. I don't know if anyone caught it because it's kind of in the background, but Snow White says, "Shouldn't you be out mining or something?" And Grimwald says, "I was sitting here minding my own business." And then Dozer says, "The forest, we gotta go." That's one of my favorites.
I think my favorite, it's not Lydia, if Lydia's here. She plays Sophia, and when we first did our first take, I could not keep a straight face, because it was just the lack of her glaze of her eyes when she goes, "There's another prince here."
She's funny.
Oh my!
She's very funny.
I broke every time.
Sorry. I like it when Tiny talks about the dope to help you cope.
Dope will help you cope.
That's my favorite.
Well, I just want to say congratulations to everybody up on stage and to everybody in the audience who worked so hard on this film. And to echo something that Jason said earlier, if you guys have Letterboxd, if you guys have Rotten Tomatoes, Tinder, Grindr, OnlyFans, spread the word and let people know.
We know who you are.
How much you love this film. If you loved it, like you said, however many stars you can give. If you didn't love it, this is Disney's Snow White remake. So thank you guys for coming out, and everybody have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.